As I delve into the history of the Premier League, I come across many teams that have risen from obscurity and transformed into forces that threaten the top positions. One such team that has topped the highest league in the land of mist is Tottenham Hotspur. From a mid-range club in the English Premier League, this football team from London has risen and transformed into someone who is ready to challenge you. They have been in a position to attend the European Cup for more than 10 years, especially in the second half of the last decade. Leicester's rise has made many admirers expect that the Foxes will return to be one of the tough challengers in the near future to contribute to the tournament. The most attractive on the planet is becoming more and more difficult to predict, but things are not like when one is dreaming and the competition results do not favor the home team. The advantage of the King Power Stadium's home team has been brought back to earth by the fall. This quick fall has made us have to ask a question: what made Leicester go from a team in the group competing for the European Cup spots to the brink of danger? For example, Leicester's most negative audience can't even imagine that the team with his ball will participate in the race. Remainers into this season say the story will be about the Fox Force, which certainly possesses a force lying in the top 10 with proven defenders who determined their name in the last season. But when the successful star has not yet risen, a patchwork defense was revealed that had deadly gaps in it. This season, if we talk about the attack of Leicester, it is still an impressive line. While they still maintain the style of scoring rate with 40 wins in 29 matches, this achievement has helped the attack of Foxes rank 10th in the league this year's English class. But their public goods is not without problems. Although there are up to 40 goals, Leicester's goal output is not stable. When they have a game, they can think of 4 to 5 friends, but also have consecutive matches that feed the nib cause for the lack of this stability. Jimmy Vardy's wait with only one table won after 28 appearances, Parks Ndadka, who was brought back with the expectation of not even replacing the English striker, is no different when you can only have it for yourself. He scored only 4 goals in 22 human matches, and the rest is Hinato, which is also a disappointment with 3 copies after 22 matches with a match. The latest coin is the number 51, which represents the number of goals Leicester should have lost if the actual number of losses is more than the period. This indicator represents a problematic defense, especially when we are taking a sample number of 29 rounds, which is enough to provide convincing data. However, if we just talk about the force factor, as well as the defense, it's real. Out teams in the relegation group like Leicester are still having similar problems. Leicester's own problem is coaching. Brendan Rodgers, about this teacher, what's wrong if we look closely? Then the former coach, Claudio Ranieri, not a coach, has the quality that is so bad in the outside industry but in football, and especially top football of the number 1 tournaments on the planet, it needs more than what they are technically. Brendan Rodgers was out of control. Fox's dressing room isn't the players who counter as many rumors, but simply consecutive defeats that continue to knock down the confidence of the youth of the formation letter. More when training, Liverpool's coach isn't really who is too good at encouraging the spirit of the players and reviving them. After the difficulties encountered by the team once crowned king of the Premier League, Leicester has gradually slipped along the rounds, and when that recession shows no sign of the veranda stop, Rodgers had to come out. Leicester needs a new coach, new atmosphere and one new battle, a battle they haven't yet experienced in recent years. In this life and death battle, the mind element is almost the top priority. That's why we always see professionals stay relegated even though there aren't too many weaknesses tactically. A special element like Son Deister fully respects what Rodgers made. Leicester's financial topic is presented divided into 2 different categories. Most of all, it's the dragon planning of Leicester that has been defeated, and the second is the loss of breath of King Power Corporation. Leicester's board of directors stood at a huge crossroads in the development of that club. Leicester will have to return become a team in the middle of the rankings after the team largely renaissance. After that, the remaining option is to continue pumping money into projects that invest in bridges, young players to build a succession of players approach to create competition for the European Cup positions and seasons. The ambitious copper stretches from 2017 to 2022, as Islam Slimani is almost €35 million, or prate nearly 20 million in the 2019 to 2020 season, and then Ford Samari, as well as other players. Actually, if we take a look at this job listing, then maybe I'll give a compliment to Leicester's music team. A lot of people on this list are Europe's top potential players that Leicester still won from the hands of big men. After winning these Morning Stars, then Leicester's plan will probably be to develop this player and resell them with a high price, as they did with Westlife midfielder. In other words, they are investing a gamble. If this player can get on the right track and develop to become one of the valuable players higher, Leicester will have a bet to eat big when they will have a surplus of hundreds of millions. However, life is not like a dream. Most of the items in this project have not reached their potential as promised. The date they should have touched the bridges, player couldn't reach the potential, and this caused harm to Leicester financially. It's a cost section for the recent reason Leicester cannot invest more in the market transferable school anymore. Moreover, we have to talk about the gender factor. The owner of King Power Corporation, the late president, Mr. V.E., is a person who loves our football very much. It is easy to see that this president, even though it's in Thailand, is really good, regularly present in the stands of King Power to watch the football team and compete. The fight is not only with Viltra president but also as a man of stature after acquiring the team ball for £50 million in 2010. Leicester is now worth nearly reaching the number of 500 million silver, which is double, 10 times more than what this president was 10 years before. The late president was unfortunately passed away due to an accident, and his son, Ayawat Srivaddhanaprabha, took over. Many people say that this son of the bottle ticks doesn't love football like his dad prioritizes the sale of players to get a lot of profit, rather than working to buy new players. They sold more than 76 million coins transferred and only bought nearly 50 million €VND in this year's season. This is true, but we have to have a more sympathetic view of perfection. The scene of Thai corporation King Group Power deals mainly in items tax-free, so business is tax-free. What is a duty-free shop? It is a type of retail store that has merchandise available exempt from paying certain taxes and obligations local or national with request goods sold to that tourist who will bring the goods out of the country, then they will pay the duty, service, and tax in their destination country. Tax-free will be distributed at the yard flying. In the past years, the COVID epidemic has been raging all over the world and directly affected the economic factor of King Power Corporation. The routes were internationally banned due to concerns about the spread of this pandemic, and of course, with the closure of airports, duty-free shops are almost frozen and inoperable, which is dragged. The revenue of the whole group decreased seriously. We can see the revenue of King Power Corporation plummeted from $2.6 billion in 2019. Event COVID made the corporation's revenue severe sundam, falling only at the level of €907 million, and in 2020 before the decline, it must have only been around the level of €500 million, and the next meme. It's now already means this corporation is gone up to 80% of revenue if compared from the top high in 2019 to a recession bottom and the vision of 2021 and the tragedy of the financial numbers to pull a consequence. Leicester has to bear a record loss of £92 million last year, with the mental exhaustion of the gameplay and partly due to financial problems that caused Leicester to dive too deep in the holding group red lights. Now, only miracles, a new coach, can keep the team that won the foreign championship England stay with the league for another year. Hope is also not dead knob when they're still there, a good lineup, a Madison that shines in every game, and just one more suitable person training chair, maybe squeeze dry firewood can ignite flames again. Usually, but what year?